Rock 102.1 KFMA.
You say it, I'll play it.
You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live from Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Wednesday, February 21st. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. I have to remind you guys, and I think I have to remind the entire company, we're giving away $2,000 each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this?
I knew that it started yesterday.
Yeah. How did you know this?
It was on the promo stuff a week ago.
Right. You know this because you're an insider and you read it on the promo stuff, right? You wouldn't know it if you were, I don't know, a fan of any social media account on any station owned by the entire company, which is odd to me because I'm like, guys, we started this promotion. You're giving away over $60,000 in 6 weeks. And I think the goal is to increase listeners to every station that you have, right, in the company. Which I understand, right? I understand the business concept of that marketing promotion, and I like it. I'm a fan of it, right? But if you just advertise on your stations and maybe put it on your websites, the people that are already going there are the people that already listen. So if you're trying to attract outside listeners, I don't know. And this might be crazy. All right, maybe, just maybe, advertise outside of your own audience to get that audience in.
It'll never work.
Whatever, dude. It's insane. So today, during the show, in between, I'm gonna shoot a commercial. I'm gonna edit up a commercial. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm probably gonna put my own money up just to boost it, and just like show people how it's done. I'm tired of being the low man on the totem pole, but having like top man ideas and initiative. You know what I mean? Like, why am I not the CEO? Why am I not running this place already? You know what I mean? Like, why am I answering to anybody when all you like nobody's doing anything? So whatever. Maybe I'm just irritated because the world's gone country. Last week, I talked about Beyonce, right? And I posted this clip on YouTube, knowing that it would create like a little S storm, which it did. I got some very interesting comments of people saying, I don't know what I'm talking about, which is fine. But the whole reason for this argument was there was a country station in Oklahoma that has no pole swing influence whatsoever, right? That got a request from a random Beyonce fan to play the new Beyonce country single, Texas Hold'em, right? Which is a very catchy pop song with country overtones. That's what it is. But the country program director politely responded back to the email, and I believe it was politely, said, we're sorry, we're a country station. We don't play Beyonce, right? So this person then screenshotted it, tweeted it out, tagged the Beehive. Beehive swarmed, caused a big S storm for this dude, and then the controversy swirled, and then program directors all over the country felt like, like pressure, like, oh, I better add this record before they come after me type deal. Now, we talked about how this song is going to be number one in country radio. And I said that it was going to be number one in country radio within a week. It is now currently number one on country radio. Yeah, exactly. Now, right now with that though, right? I'm not anti-Beyonce. I'm kind of anti-country.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you on that one. Country's not my favorite format by a mile. Okay. And Beyonce is just one of many pop artists that are making a move to country radio. Okay, so it starts with Beyonce, Atlanta Del Rey's making a country record, Post Malone's making a country record. This is nothing new. We had, Sting, Aaron Lewis making a country record, Hootie making a country record. They all found success. Why is Well, it's because that's where the only money is. Like, if you look at every other genre in popular music, everything is kind of like on a downswing, right? Like hip hop is like, fizzled. Pop isn't really doing anything because all their major artists are moving to different genres and grabbing money. So this does irritate me because I understand the argument that Black people created country. And so, the historic part of this is Beyonce is the first Black woman who ever had a #1 single in country music, which is mind blowing, actually.
Yeah,
right?
that is very, oh, wow.
Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, right? And you got to break down those walls. But this is a pop record. And, with all these pop artists making their swing over to country, I'm sorry, I'm a hipster at heart, right? I appreciate art when it's created by artists, and I also turn my nose down to machine-made, certified, safe radio plays, right? Like you got this song, which is catchy, right? Which of course is a hit, is cultivated in a lab with the world's best songwriters and producers and multiple people all collaborating at once. And then when it's all like fine-tuned and it's tested, then it's presented to the Queen Bee, who's a fantastic megastar, who is beautiful, who is talented, who could perform this song. But in no means is her fingerprints on this, with the exception of slapping her face and her name on the product and then pushing it out there. That's how it's going to be with all these other artists, right? And now I get mad because of all these other genres that we talked about, that people are complaining that they're kind of like fizzling out and they're like dying. Well, the prominent artists that could lift those genres up aren't lifting those genres up. They're jumping ship to do a cash grab over there.
Right. And if I was a true country fan, like any of these kind of like tourist artists that are just, like you said, trying to do the cash grab, I'd ignore them.
Right.
Because it's frustrating. Like, just like we've kind of made the same complaint about the country artists that are trying to be temporary rock stars and then go back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our playlist is another, baffling thing.
Whole other subject.
Yeah. I mean, how even Hardy, I saw in an interview with Hardy, which we play Rockstar on this station. It starts off with like a country bridge. And then he's like, no, it's one of the hardest rocking songs I got. So it starts off with Country Bridge, and then it gets a little bit heavy. And then he does his best Kid Rock impersonation, and it's still country. Oh my God, it's vomit. If you like that song, good for you, because music is subjective. But I will always and forever be forever hipster, right? Like if it is ingenuine, if it is machine made, if it's soulless and it's 100%, calculated cash grab type of music, corporate, then you get out of my face. I will keep it real until no more, right? You got to be real if you're an artist in music. And if it's not real music, then I don't want to F with you. And congratulations, country music. They're your problem now. We're going to continue to look for real music and then play old school real music like Rage Against the Machine. All right, that's my first get off my lawn moment. But you know what? The day is young. Your morning morons coming up after new music from Green Day. Here's Bulls on Parade. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Stick around because I'm going to give you an opportunity to win $2,000 cash money. All you got to do is keep listening.
Doesn't necessarily have to be the keyword
for you
to technically be registered. I would still play it safe and listen for the keyword to text in, and I'm sure they're going to fix it after Mucho received messages like this. I got this screenshot from Elizabeth here that I want to share with you. As we just said on the air, I'm like, why don't you get obscene with your messages? And here's what Elizabeth texted KFMA, all the dirty words. I'm not even going to repeat them on the air here or on the podcast because I want to be able to possibly monetize this, and I don't want it to get shadow banned. But she got all the dirty words in there. And then
she ended with the actual word.
Yeah. Hope this doesn't actually disqualify me. Beef told me to do it. Oh, wait. Thanks for ratting me out, Elizabeth. Ugh. Now I'm going to get an email, a sternly worded email from Mucho.
It won't be the first time.
Yeah, no, I know.
Or the last.
Yeah, but Mucho's my boy. So it's funny
awesome.
that we realized that, of course, we had the Temu version on this. And I had Michelle call in and give me a heads up. And she mentioned that, there is another company that does a promotion like this. But when you text the wrong keyword to them, there's a response back saying, hey, that's the wrong keyword. But not ours. Not ours. And it's not our fault as far as this company is concerned. Like, as far as like Mac, our program director, and Mucho, because they were sold this program.
Yeah.
And they were sold the Cadillac of this. This is literally what Mac told me yesterday. He said they were sold the Cadillac version of this program and they presented it to the company, and company's like, yeah, sure. But then the company in return bought the Pinto version of this program. So as they were showing all these kind of like cool features that would come along with this certain amount of money, they're like, okay, yeah, absolutely, we're 100% on board. And then unbeknownst to Mucho or Mac, they're just like, yeah, no, we're just gonna get the generic version. And they're like, okay, well, this is what it's gonna happen. But the cool thing about this program is that you should be able to, like, all these texts that you're sending right now, I should be able to see here soon. As soon as Mucho's done with the training. And people could then directly text us while we're live on the air at 600 KFMA.
That's cool.
Yeah, while we're doing a show, while you do your Sunday show, all of it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting that live feedback.
Absolutely. And, so many people now are afraid to pick up the phone and talk. So then we could do text contests and things like that. So I'm looking forward to the technology as far as creatively speaking, how to utilize it and continue to interact with our crew here.
Nice.
As we building up our fam. So we got a lot of stuff that we're covering on the podcast. I'm excited about this one because, like I said in the description, we're going to do an update about Edwin Castro. We know Edwin, right? He is the California man who won the world's largest Powerball drawing. Cashed out at just under $1 billion, immediately started like buying up like expensive real estate. He's now Jimmy Kimmel's neighbor. And of course, this whole thing was not without controversy because it's alleged that he stole that Powerball ticket.
Right.
So I want to give you an update on Edwin and give you some pictures of him living the life. And then in about 30 seconds, we're going to give you the rundown of this woman, and I'll share it right here. This, pull this up. This TikTok, my friend Kat, on Saturday or Sunday was like watching this TikTok, this woman on TikTok. I'm not gonna repeat myself, so let's just get on the air and get right into this. Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's Tim Montana with Devil You Know. All right, it's Rock 102.1. Now over the weekend, my friend Kat. Juan said, can I? So I could sex beef then? Yes, you can. It's 600 KFMA. Sex away. All right. So
consent is given.
Yeah. Over the weekend, my friend Kat was enamored with this woman on TikTok. And I don't know if you saw this yet. I know that you're kind of digitally detoxing. But the title of this series is Who the F Did I Marry? Okay. The woman in question is named Risa Tisa. That's what she goes by on TikTok. And what makes her like viral content so incredible and mind-blowing is that it is 50 10-minute videos.
Right. When TikTok first came out with like the 10-minute format, I'm like, nobody's going to watch that. Apparently they are.
Right. So with 50 10-minute videos of her talking about a man that she married during COVID and then slowly discovering how he was a pathological liar and a narcissist. Now, these are claims that most women will give to any ex in any situation. But right off the bat, you're talking about like expert level storytelling because when you break that down, that's 8.5 hours of her talking about her ex-husband, putting him on full blast. Right. Now, as daily storytellers ourselves, we'll go into a 10-minute story maybe.
Right. But then we move on. And I've been on the Reddit feeds where there have been women and men being like, who the F did I marry? Like these crazy stories of they think that their partner is this one person and then they find out not at all.
Yeah. So have you watched any of this?
I have not.
So you know anything about this at all?
So okay. I saw a headline about it, but I did not dive into it.
All right. Well, it is a deep dive. Okay. And I'm pulling up the video right now. And now obviously I'm not going to play 8.5 hours of Risa Tisa. But she claimed in the video that she refers to her husband. It goes by Legion. Okay. And he said that he was the vice president of a condiment company. And she later found out that he was actually unemployed for much of their romance. Now, the thing that did it was they got together during COVID. Now, this is a part of a story of many stories that are coming out of COVID relationships. And it was difficult for her to be able to cross-reference his lies because the world was shut down.
Right.
Right. And during their time of romance, right, he allegedly spent months pretending to go to work every day. He would talk on the phone with his so-called brother each and every day for hours on end. But then really it was revealed that he didn't have a brother. She said that he would act like he was rich and offer to buy her lavish things like new cars and 5-bedroom mansions and go to extreme measures to make her believe his lies, like faking phone calls with financial advisors and family members, only to come up with bizarre excuses when it came time to actually make any purchases. Are you looking her up right now?
I am looking at it because I wanted to see how many views each video got. And I mean, she is consistently millions of views each video. So it's not like, oh, people watched the first couple and got bored. No, like they have stayed with her for all 50.
I'm telling you, if they're anything like my friend Kat, who again came across this Saturday morning, she spent the entire day watching and listening to every single step of this. Listen to this.
But I'm gonna try. All right, backstory number 1. We met in March of 2020. Georgia got shut down, locked down 2.5 weeks later. We got married January of 2021, and we were divorced August of 2021. So keep in mind that this story is spanning March of 2020 until about June of 2021, because I kicked.
Now, I can't play too much of this on the air, and I wouldn't, but I am still just blown away at the fact, like I said, with my friend and obviously millions of people all over the world, they start listening to this woman talk about an ex-lover, which is nothing new on social media. Like you said on Reddit, you know, who the F did I marry is a popular tab that people, contribute to all the time. So she goes in on this and has them hooked so much so that people are like begging for a series. And she went 8.5 hours.
Wow.
8.5 hours of putting this guy in blast. Now imagine you're the ex-husband. Now, okay, first off, you're a pathological liar, and it looks like you're, the world's biggest scumbag. But what if some of this is not true and you're just like, oh, come on, man. Like, it just keeps going. Like, stop. I mean, I have a jilted ex who, was very vicious in this breakup and stuff and making things up. Yeah. But at the same time, she didn't go on for 8 hours. And so, it's insane. Here's just one viral video of a dude just reacting to the popularity of this woman and demanding what he wants.
Somebody better get Risa Tisa a contract and a check, or there is nothing sacred in this world. Okay? Nothing. This lady has made a series on TikTok called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? It is about how she married a pathological liar during the COVID lockdown and slowly had all of this revealed to her over a year that everything he did was a lie. She explains this over a 50-part TikTok series.
Yeah, so the same reaction I have. It is insane, but it very impressive. If you're talking about the world's greatest storytellers currently, there's plenty of hosts out there, podcast hosts, television show hosts, that will tell stories and captivate an audience. But I don't know any of them that can captivate an audience telling one story for 8.5 hours. So the tea runs deep with Tisa Risa, and she is the latest TikTok sensation, and kudos, I guess. But I guess that's something that you want to add to your list. Is Netflix just going to give her a deal and then just take the 10-minute videos and put them together to make a 10-part series,
right,
of just her in her car talking about her ex-husband?
That's what I was going to say. A lot of them is from her car, plus she does do lives answering everybody's questions too, which you can get money from that if people are doing the tip thing or whatever. So she's got to be making money off this. Yeah.
So here's a couple juicy tidbits from the video, so you don't have to spend 8.5 hours just kind of figuring out. She said that he told her he was a graduate from San Diego State University and a former arena football player who just moved to Georgia from California because his job had transferred him. And at that time, he claimed to be a regional manager at a condiment company. that he just had gone through a divorce because he caught his ex-wife cheating on him. Right.
Mhm.
Then she said that he would talk on the phone for hours. They eventually decided to go on a first date at the Cheesecake Factory, which went really well, apparently.
Mhm.
And then when COVID-19 pandemic hit, it was soon after. And then she made the decision to quarantine together at her home since they were talking every day. And then from there, it continued to get odder. So he started paying for her rent and all of her bills. So to like discover how he had that money and how deep the level of scam went was also of what kept people listening. Like, how did he do all this stuff? And maybe people were taking notes.
Well, and from March 2020 to June 2021, that's only just it was a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
This wasn't like a 15-year marriage. Like it was like 15 months. Like, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And she admits that she, was kind of seduced by the fact that he was paying her bills. And she was always kind of like independent. And at the time, she showed her a letter that he had from Chase, which said he had been approved for a $750,000 mortgage. And how this was able to happen and the con is mind blowing. So, yes, her sharing this story in detail. And let's just how crazy would it be if we found out all of it was made up? Right. I mean, as of right now, we don't know how much of it is factual. We're taking her at her word, at her 8.5-hour word, but it is the internet and it is possible that it may be fabricated. But at the same time, an 8.5-hour, very detailed lie seems like that's something that's possible to do as well. So that's Tisa Risa on TikTok. That is your girlfriend's latest obsession.
Yeah.
So have fun with that. Let's hit the reset on the FM side, keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. When we come back, we're going to get tabs on the Powerball winner, Edwin Castro, what he's been up to. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah, so here's a couple other just little tidbits here to get you caught up, because I know you're probably going to watch this later.
Now I'm going to. Yeah, thanks. You brought me back to TikTok.
I know. Well, that's good. Then you could like some of my videos I've been posting.
I guess.
All right. So she said in early June, she looked up the house on realtor.com and saw that it was listed as off the market. She called the realtor and discovered that it had been sold to somebody else. So she actually, around that time, she discovered that she was pregnant with their first child. And he told her that he bought this house. But then she found out that he didn't. And now she's pregnant with this man's child. That's when she realized that he was lying about being under contract. And then she had a decision to make. And she thought, you're about to have a baby with this man. He's paying all the household bills. Let him get out of the lie. It's too much. It's too much to get into. Obviously, I mean, it's hard to recap 8.5-hour story.
Right.
But it's also, again, just so surprising and mind blowing that she can go on it's not produced. Right. So it's just her looking at her phone, telling this story about a man for 10-minute videos at a time, and doing 50 of them in 8.5 hours and keeping people watching, 1 million people watching from beginning to end.
Well, and more than likely these 50 10-minute videos are the highlights. So there's probably a bunch of other stuff she's not talking about because they're like the small little piddly lies.
Yeah.
Or kind of stuff that isn't as bad. The fact that it's 500 minutes of the highlights, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, if all of this is true, somebody pay for her therapy, please.
Well, I mean, it just gives you again, it backs up the theory, hell have no fury like a woman scorned, and that women do not forget when it comes to these things. So in painstaking details, she is breaking down this relationship in a way that, again, captivated and engaged with people on a social media app that's designed to cater to the ADD. That's another thing too. In the social media age where everyone's attention span is so small that it's difficult for Netflix to even put out a series that people will watch from beginning to end, that she's doing it. This is a Netflix series that she did on her phone. Insane.
Did she have the baby?
You know what? You're going to have to watch 6 hours into her TikTok
right.
videos to find out. I'm not going to give you any spoilers because it seems like this is America's latest obsession. And who would I be? Plus, I don't know.
Who would I be to deny? I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, the short answer is I'm not wasting that much time on that. It's pretty funny, though. I'll watch little snippets. We'll see what happens.
Mm.
All right. We've had a lot going on this morning. Earlier this morning, we had, a great Let's Get Weirdo. In case you missed it, a little something like this. All right, there you go. System of a Down with no, it's not. That's just started with Down with the Sickness. I get you though, right?
No, you
There's
did.
similarities there. I got myself. All right, it is now 6:48, and it's time to get weird with Weirdo. She's been finding all the strange stories here on the interwebs, and to share with us, we got the lovely and talented Weirdo. What do you got for us this morning, Weirdo?
This is definitely weird, but also a celebration of women, which is quite exciting.
Oh, I love celebrating women. What is it?
Yeah, so San Francisco is bringing in the good vibrations with the Good Vibrations Antique Vibrator Museum.
Oh, of course, San Francisco would be the first city to have an antique vibrator museum. Now, question. How old is the oldest vibrator?
Well, this museum in particular has one that dates back to 1902, but they go all the way back to like 1837.
Oh, really? Before batteries or anything? So how would they charge these vibrators? Was it one of those like wheels, handles that you would crank it?
They would crank it. Yes, and doctors would use it to treat women's hysteria, which would include, depression, panic attacks, unhappy sex lives. I mean, just it covered it all.
Yeah, male medical practices to this day is always just like, oh, you feeling down, girl? Do you need any help with your vagina?
Yeah.
That'll help.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, that literally is what it came down to.
That's what it was. Seriously, like, oh, she's mad. She's mental. Here,
she's cranky.
Yeah, just give her an orgasm. That will help.
I know. Wow, they figured it all the way out back then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess they're not 100% wrong, but I'm sure that they miscalculated plenty of times in the past.
Yeah, so this the museum celebrates the fact that eventually this medical procedure came to the home front, and in the early 1900s, it also covers how they discreetly sold to the public to avoid obscenity laws by promoting them as ways to improve complexion, neck massagers, even weight loss, and anything else that might distract from making it known what they were really used for.
Right. Yeah. That's the same thing they still do today for all those like wands and any kind of massage guns. You know what it's for. And
it's interesting too, because when I'm like looking at some of these, I'm like, the designs haven't changed a whole lot.
No.
Just like maybe better material or maybe, not plugged into a wall, but otherwise the shape and the accessories have not really changed.
So they had rabbit ears way back then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, good for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had it figured out.
And that's something that you could learn at the world's first vibrator museum in San Francisco. Right.
So good.
Yeah. What else you got?
Well, scientists are going to be helping out the dudes.
Okay.
Because, apparently the testes are still a mystery.
Well, okay, I can understand that. I mean, they are a mystery. I think I thought I heard somewhere like if you unraveled them, they would go for miles, right? Or maybe that's our intestines, but still.
Well, this specifically is figuring out about male infertility. Scientists have officially grown a pair of artificial man bits in a dish for a mouse.
Nice.
Yeah, so these Frankenbeans aren't fully functional yet, but they allow experts to fully investigate it by producing artificial sperm thanks to a mini 3D model of testes that can be used to study the real deal.
Oh, that's awesome. You're going to have to pass that information along to me because I have plenty of guy friends out there that need to grow a pair. So I would definitely pass it along to them.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you lack balls. Here you go. Science got your back.
And then finally, we have an update about the adult diaper spa controversy that's coming out of New Hampshire.
Okay, yeah. So if I recall correctly, this was a spa where people can go wear adult diapers and be like pampered and babied and all this weird stuff.
And go through some childhood trauma therapies. That's what it's intended for. But the neighbors were like, we're seeing through this. Well, the owner, she still has original location, but now she is trying to get a zoning permit to do special services out of her home.
Oh, okay.
And her neighbors were like, nah, dog, we're not doing that.
We're not going to have grown-ass men showing up in my neighborhood wearing diapers saying goo goo gaga. No.
Yeah, exactly. Citing concerns over traffic and property values, as well as the potential clientele an adult diaper spa might bring in. The neighborhood spoke out against the business, and they have gotten their way. Permits denied.
Oh, wow. That's so funny, too, because in my mind, initially, it went to property value as the argument. Right? You're going to bring down the property value of this whole neighborhood if, a realtor comes here and sees a bunch of grown men in diapers.
Well, and concerns over traffic. Like, it's going to cause accidents as well.
Yeah, but that's insane. I mean, obviously, there's not going to be like a line around the block of people doing this. It's a very niche business.
It is.
If anything, super discreet as well. I'm sure the neighborhood weed dealer gets way more traffic than the neighborhood diaper dealer. So odd things in New Hampshire and definitely weird news. Thank you, weirdo. We're gonna hit the reset. When we come back, you're gonna have all right, I'll tell you what. Let's watch this. I know that you're so intrigued about this woman, Risa Tisa.
Okay.
So together we'll watch a couple minutes of her opening and see if I mean, by all means, as far as the internet, she's definitely not she doesn't have anything working in her favor, as far as internet cheat sheets and cheat codes are concerned. She's not just a smoking hot chick just showing off her body and getting views or eating something delicious at the same time.
Or doing the stupid dance moves.
Yeah, or doing any fancy edits. It's literally just her talking in a car, and it's fascinating. Let's see.
Kicked him out the house on his birthday. So we met online, Facebook dating and Hinge. I will never do online dating again. But that is where I met him. My tire blew on 285 just before Boulder Crest on my way to our first date. Clearly that was a sign. I didn't listen. But my tire blew and he met me at a gas station. We were supposed to be meeting at Cheesecake Factory, but because the tire blew, he met me at a gas station, fixed my tire, then took me to go get another tire, paid for it. And I just thought, oh my God, this is the beginning of a beautiful romantic story. Boy, was I wrong. So, things he lied about. Every morning he would get on the phone with his brother. We'll call his brother John. He would get on the phone with John and he would be like, hey, babe, John said good morning. And I'm in the bathroom doing my hair because I still had to go to work at this time. And so I would just say, hey, John, call out, hey, John. And, he would relay back and forth what I said to John, what John said to me. I never actually talked to John on the phone. And so he would be like, I can't wait for COVID to be over. Me and my girl, we're going to come to see y'all. I can't wait for Auntie to meet her. Side note, his parents were deceased.
All right, so even with the way that she's telling this story, it's not like it's necessarily captivating, and it's a little all over the place too. But of course, questions pop up. So I think that's the part that makes it so engaging. Is that you're just like, well, was he not talking to anyone on the phone at all? Is the question that goes through, right? And so yeah, it's very odd. So maybe she could have even edited it down to maybe a 1 hour story.
Yeah, maybe.
But it doesn't matter because it got people watching all the way through. So is there a new type of modern day storytelling? And this is right up my alley, actually. This is in favor of us and the way that we go scatterbrained and we're just going all over the place. Will this work in our favor too?
Somebody had tagged me on TikTok because somebody was like, it was like a prompt of like, hey, if you've ever been on TLC's 4 Weddings, what was your experience? And I did like a little 5-part with like a bonus, and it did get a lot of views because people are curious about the, kind of the backstage behind the scenes kind of thing.
10-minute videos?
No, that was that was before the 10-minute video thing. It was still only a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'd have to, get to the point really, really quick.
Yeah, and that's what the edit was for. But yeah, now TikTok has been changing it up. But to get in the algorithm to have your 10-minute conversations or content be kind of picked up, you have to have it in long form. Is what I found out. I uploaded a clip that the shorts of that clip that have done very well on TikTok, but the actual reel that I put together for it, that was the full segment, which about 5.5 minutes, was dead in the water. Literally had 1 view. And so it wasn't shown at all.
Yeah.
It's very odd to see how this necessarily works. Something that I continue to learn in the process and figuring it out for sure.
And now have you ran into the issue of you think you've got the algorithm figured out and you're like, okay, I'm seeing the success from it, and then it changes?
Yes and no, but the key is consistency, and know that, there's stuff that gets blacklisted or shadow banned because of the content. Like the thing I posted yesterday was a morning moron, but it was a story about a guy smuggling things or sticking things in his ass and then putting them back on the shelf. Funny story, but just because of the context, it pretty much was dead in the water as well. Shadow banned. We're back here, Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Let me remind you guys and show you a picture here on the podcast broadcast of the man that I want to talk about now. He goes by Edwin Castro. Right now, if that name sounds familiar to you, it should, because he made history as being the nation's biggest Powerball winner in history. scoring that jackpot in California of over $2 billion. All right. So, Edwin right off the bat was already raising eyebrows and getting me concerned personally, thinking he's going to blow through this money. I mean, everything about how Edwin is approaching this windfall of good luck and fortune is that of fantasy. He is living out fantasy, and right off the bat, Edwin made news by moving into the Hollywood Hills, right in between Jimmy Kimmel and Ariana Grande. Right.
That insane property.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 25 million, 26 million?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, when he won the $2 billion, a little bit over $2 billion, he opted to take the lump sum, right? Which a lot of people would do. And he got about 970 million. So they took over $1 billion in taxes in California from his winnings. Now, the thing with Edwin is he also, at the same time that he cashed this in and was anonymous at first, there was allegations from another man saying that the ticket was stolen away from him from Edwin Castro. Since then, this is the update on Edwin, the Powerball winner. He has hired a public relations guru to help him manage his fortune and fame.
Okay.
Now, along with that, he also has hired bodyguards for him and his family. Now, again, I'm looking at this as basically like a timeline to try to guess at what point is he going to blow through $970 million. As much as that seems like it's an impossible feat, it's really not that impossible, especially when right out the gate you spend like $100 million, in which in a way he kind of did.
Well, and there's been many different series and blogs about how, but the 90% of lottery winners blow through it within like first 5 years or something. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, well,
how fast they go through it.
And usually though, that's like 3 to 5 million or 1 million to 10 million, something like that. And so that's easier to do. But 970 million, you think is a couple lifetimes worth of money. But again, now you got more expensive tastes. Now with that, he hired this media representative named Terry Fawn, who has a bunch of A-list clients that she has worked with in the past, like Alex Rodriguez and various NBA stars. The billionaire also hired a new attorney of Michael G. Friedman of the Friedman firm. It doesn't sound like a cheap lawyer at all. No. And of course, the namesake of the firm, so Top Dog. He also took, we told you that he took the lump sum. It was actually 997 million. So he's 3 million away from being technically a billionaire, but he already spent more of that money. So he's not a billionaire. He's just a multi-millionaire. He used big earnings to buy a luxury house for himself, one for his parents, multiple sports cars, and splurged on exotic trips. And he was recently spotted on a date in Hollywood, trying to pimp it out. And this is his date who's on there. And what I like about him, this is one of his sports cars that he's rocking. He has several. He has a new Porsche. He's got some vintage vehicles, a 1970s Porsche 911, along with a 1990s Porsche 911. So the guy has a Porsche fetish. He was rocking a man bun and a Raleigh's fingers style mustache, because you could rock any look you want if you're
like Don Quixote.
I know, dude, but he's still pimping it.
Right.
This is a woman right here as he's vaping. This is such new money. Edwin Castro is like, dude, don't be so mysterious. Like, I want to see a reality show about you right now. Like, we just talked about a woman on TikTok who spent 8.5 hours doing content, but the real content I want to see is cameras following around this dude as he goes from rags to riches in real life.
Yeah.
Right? This is essentially, it's been a movie plot line for many movies over the last 60 years. He's living this fantasy, and I want this documented every step of the way, because nothing about this guy screams money, with the exception of his bank account.
Right.
Right.
Didn't he work at a convenience store, and then he bought the convenience store and also like the houses around it or something?
Well, he bought the house and basically a couple houses on the street. Right.
Okay.
So another cool thing that he did for his final low profile blowout right after he got some money from the Powerball is that he took his friends to a Fiji floating paradise, and they were spotted at an exclusive Cloud9 bar, which is a giant drifting watering hole. And he took them all to, we assume, an all expenses paid vacation to Fiji, where they raged.
Oh my
And-
God, what if he won and he's like, guys, we're going on vacation. All his friends are like getting ready. And he's like, you get your plane tickets? And it's like, no, dude, we thought you were doing it.
Right. You just won $1 billion, bitch. You're paying for this. So yeah, they are following him around. So at least we got paparazzi documenting this and this a woman that he's on a date with. But beyond that, I got more details of what Edwin's been doing with his money here after the vacation, of course. And this vacation, by the way, this bar was only accessible by boat around an hour from a tropical island's mainland. And it has 2 levels designed for day snorkeling, sunbathing, and drinking, and lots of drinking. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds like an expensive vacation. Yeah, so he reportedly returned from his excursion to Fiji to his family's 3-bedroom home. And that's where he started splashing the cash. He hired bodyguards for him and his family, began working with his brother, Jesse, a banker, to manage his fortune. And then scammers also picked up on it, on his wealth, and his friends started to become targeted. But from beyond there, he is still, of course, spending money. And as all this is happening, Jose Rivera reported that Edwin has stole his winning ticket from him. And police and California lottery investigators have tried to find out if the supposed crime took place, but now believe Rivera has lied about the claim, which is good news. And the city of Pasadena told the local police department has turned over documentation to the prosecutor and potential misdemeanor charges of filing a false police report. So the good news for Edwin is he's not going to have this money taken away. The bad news is he's still spending it.
Yeah.
And he might be, his own worst enemy, but we'll see.
I mean, he got the bodyguards, especially like you said, when his family and friends started becoming victims of, scammers.
Mhm.
Like, so that to me, that's a smart move. He did ask his friend who was supposed to be good with money, but
His
at the
brother.
or his brother. Yeah. So like, it seems to me like there's been a couple of smart moves, right? Because there's always been that conversation. Like, what would you do? And my first thing I would change my phone number and I would hire a lawyer, or what I would need to do to protect my family.
So you're saying all your past friends and family would be instantly dead to you if you won $970 million?
No, just to change my number to protect myself and my famay.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that
if
I would
you won $970 million, would you still talk with me?
Yeah.
Would you still come on the
I
show?
would totally buy this station
Nice.
and put you in charge.
Well,
I'm not kidding.
The Powerball and the Mega Millions is growing. So
Okay.
yeah, so save up
I suppose I
$2.
should actually play.
Yeah, we can't win if you don't play. We're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, but I guess to summarize this, my concerns initially at first that they were going to take this money away from are settled, right? So it looks like he legitimately won this Powerball, which is great. Now, what he spends on it, I want documented. I want every step of the day. And he's got to be the next. I mean, he's in between 2 Hollywood A-listers. He needs to be a guest on Jimmy Kimmel. It's time to come out of the shadows, Edwin, and be essentially the luckiest role model that this country needs right now. We need a feel-good story.
We do.
And this guy going from Vadio to A-list in the Hollywood Hills, annoying Ariana Grande is the story that we all need. All right, so let's keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We got more coming up after Jimmy Eat World on Rock 102.1. Amazing.
Oh my God, if he had his own TikTok series of pranking the celebrity neighbors that he has, and harmless pranks, right? Like nothing too big, but just enough to get those shots of Ariana Grande being like,
yeah, or even his date, since he is dating, and that's another thing. So he's a billionaire who's single. The woman is okay, she's attractive-ish.
I mean, the picture seems like she's genuinely engaged with him, and she's laughing at every joke.
Well, first off, I'm sure he's funny, because he's got a belly, and look at that mustache and man bun. So the guy's definitely got personality, but obviously, I guess the downside is that anyone that's gonna date you is got to be a gold digger, right? You got to have your guard up,
right? Unless you do find somebody that has no idea who you are.
Yeah, and then pick them up in your 1970s Porsche 911 and take him to this house, right? So that's $25 million for just as himself. And this house actually, the realtor, which Herb talked about because this was featured on a reality show, was designed for parties. So this entire house, it was like the ultimate party house. And that's the house he chose to buy. And then Jimmy Kimmel's right here. Ariana Grande's on the other side.
It's insane.
I know. I'm definitely buying a lottery ticket. If Edwin Castro can win, it's an inspiration to us all. But unfortunately, you have to be in California to win because the last several major jackpots have definitely all been California, and we call shenanigans on that shit.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my Valentine's presents. My girlfriend got me scratchers. I was so excited. I won $6. But hey, more than I had before.
Exactly. All right. I'm going to get ready for our next viral video. But earlier this morning, we did, let's see, story time with Uncle Beef. You'll see what that was. I was trying something new today. Let me know how we did. Check it out. All right. Where do you get a pen over there?
Sure.
No, don't use that Sharpie. I'll give you a pen.
Okay.
All right. I need you to write on this piece of paper 5 things, either people, places, and things. People, places, and things. Okay. Take your time. Think of it. Be creative. 5 people, places, and things. And then I will pop back on here to explain why.
Okay.
Are you wondering why I had you write down 5 people, places, and things?
I am.
Okay.
Very curious.
Because, like sometimes I don't want to just report on news stories and ridiculousness. Sometimes I just want to just make shit up.
Okay.
So I'm going to attempt to make stuff up. You said Bryan Cranston, Buckingham Palace, roller skates, Ashley Olsen, and Colossal Cave. I don't even know what's Colossal Cave.
That's in Vail. It's an attraction here in Tucson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get on here. Rock on 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back. Beefy Presents. That's Godsmack, who still owes us a KFMA Day performance. I'm not letting you forget that, Sully. All right. So I will come after you. Don't make me. I'll come after you, not physically, but at the poker tables where I'll take all your money. Dude likes to play Texas Hold'em, and I'll tell you right now, I think I'd be able to call his bluff.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I know his voodoo, if you will. I had a weird dream last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, too, because I haven't watched Breaking Bad in years, but Walter White, played by Bryan Cranston, was in my dream last night.
Huh.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a meth-related dream. What's crazy is that, we were all just hiking and we went to Colossal Cave in Vail. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
weird.
Yeah, it was. This dream was super vivid. Okay. So I'm hanging with Walter White. He has a young girlfriend that looks like Ashley Olsen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're walking through Colossal Cave. The whole thing's a trip, but it doesn't stop there because while we're kind of walking through, all of a sudden, I see a naked woman rolling by on roller skates.
I mean, that's always a good day.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this dream's about to turn really good.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because all of a sudden, when we go through this little tunnel, we come out on the other end, and we're somehow in Buckingham Palace.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing about this dream made sense.
Was it Princess Kate on the roller skates?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah. I know. That would be pretty hot. And that would be porntastic as well. But yeah, everything about that dream was a trip. And I didn't know where to go from there. As I was just kind of walking through Buckingham Palace, I turn around. Of course, Walter White, Bryan Cranston, is behind me with his young girlfriend. They're snorting lines of meth. In Buckingham Palace. Now, I know initially it wasn't a meth thing, but once we got into Buckingham Palace, Walter White's like, well, we got a party.
Right.
Yeah. I'm walking around going up and down the halls looking for the naked lady on roller skates. I don't know what's going on with my brain, weirdo. I just feel like if this is a subconscious dream, I'm trying to find the meaning of it. And I thought long and hard when I woke up this morning. I thought about the details of the dream. I'm like, what does this mean? And I'm like, oh, this means, I don't even know. I'm trying. I'm reaching now. I am 100% reaching. What would you think the dream means?
Oh, I'm sure it means something like maybe need to be on an antidepressant, maybe need a vacation.
First off, that didn't sound like a depressing dream whatsoever. My dreams, I party. So, I mean, I was...
Are you one of those ones that can kind of control what happens in your dreams? That you can kind of direct it?
Normally, but in this situation, if I could really control my dream, I would have ended up in one of the side rooms in the Buckingham Palace with the naked lady on roller skates. And it would have been like, you know, a Boogie Nights situation.
With
But
Bryan
that didn't
Cranston
happen.
just standing in the corner watching.
Bryan Cranston or Walter White does look like he would be a cuck. Yeah. Well, in fact, actually, I feel like I want to take a nap during this next commercial break. And then that way I can continue my dream, end up having a menage with Roller Skate Girl and Ashley Olsen while Bryan Cranston snorts meth in the corner and cheers me on. And then, I'll go into my own colossal cave.
Nailed it.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's hit the reset here. That was my best attempt. It was early, and I tried, and maybe we'll try it again. We'll see. And maybe we'll get it a little cleaner. We'll see. Well, the reality is, I'm trying to get experimental here, trying to have fun. And I'll play back a clip of Weirdo rapping All-Star here in a little bit. I did enjoy that. Did you enjoy yourself rapping?
I did. Once I actually figured out not to rush through it.
Yeah, you don't rush these songs. You got to feel the rhythm. Feel the beat, just like Gloria Estefan told you back in the day. And the rhythm's gonna get you. And when you do that, you just let it take over. The next thing you know, it's like you're not even in control. You're just a part of the music. And that's what we're talking about, because we did the All-Star Challenge with Weirdo today just to see how she would do. And we did it over Eminem's Hi, My Name Is. And to surprising results. It wasn't too bad. Hey, will it be a video later? No. So don't keep an eye out for it. Speaking of videos, though, we watch a lot of viral content. Do you ever notice how, like, whenever you see a video of like a police stop, that cops touch the back of the trunk before they approach the... Yeah, that's a thing. Do you know why they do that?
No.
Let me tell you why. Because after a whole arsenal of viral social media videos out there doing this, many people are asking the same question. Why do cops touch the back of the car as they walk up to the driver's side door? Now, based on commenters on one such video, there seems to be two reasons. First, to make sure the trunk is closed and that no one's going to pop out to surprise them with a weapon or some sort, right? Like, surprise, bitch, I got you, right? But second, and I think this one is kind of more realistic and makes sense to me, is to put fingerprints on the car to serve as evidence that they were there in an event that something does happen that puts a stop in dispute, or in case something happens later.
Got it. So if they track down the car, they know it's really that one because it's got the cop's fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
That would actually is quite clever.
Yeah, that is clever. And you would think, over time, like every single procedure, every single rule is kind of created when something goes wrong. And it's like, oh, I wish I would have done this, like a hindsight rule.
Mm-hmm.
So putting the fingerprints on the trunk of the car before they go up and approach them, so that way it's all tied together. So more so than, is this trunk going to pop open and it'd be like four clowns with machetes.
Like in GTA or something.
Yeah, ready to attack. So, that's just a little fun fact to share with you real quick. And also, well, let's see. I want to hit the reset because I got a viral video that I'm going to share with you. Then I have a beef tip. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit with you. So you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, and you're going to see a brewery fail. Now, this Saturday is a pub crawl that Tucson Foodie's throwing. So I'm going to probably replay this video on Friday when we have a couple brewers in studio to get us ready for this pub crawl. But you got to see it now because this is amazing. And what they did was they took a bad situation and they turned it into excellent marketing. All right? Yeah, I'm going to share you that story on the podcast broadcast. Back for your beef tip after these words. It's Rock 1 2.1. All right. So that was the tease on that. So let me show you this video real quick. Where you at here? Video. Yeah, it's Instagram. Okay, so now what they posted this on Instagram. It's Back Channel Brewing, and the post says the best beer of the weekend is now on tap. Right, it's limited. Winky face. All right, and you're gonna see why it's limited as I share this right here. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's music here. So that's the end, right?
Oh.
But watch. This is how it turned out. This is what happened.
Blowback.
That's what they called it. Isn't that brilliant?
Genius.
Yeah. So they're like, obviously, but
God, could you imagine the smell though? Because like while beer and all that's fermenting, it's so gross.
it is. And in fact, that it literally almost, he's lucky he didn't get knocked out.
Right.
I mean, it blew him on his ass and then immediately gets back up like, oh no,
Yeah.
I got to try to block it. Worst case scenario, dude.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But the fact that, like you said, they turned it around and now they have this viral video from blowback.
All right. So, Beef, if I interpreted your dream, it's you wanting to travel and wanting to be in a relationship. Oh, yeah. That's why there's a naked lady in roller skates.
Oh, okay.
You know what? And
makes sense.
I completely agree with you. I feel like both. I've been craving to go to Rocky Point and other places. And in fact, actually, like my goal in this contract negotiation is to get like a signing bonus.
Mhm.
So then I could pay for all of us to go to Rocky Point for a week
Oh,
as
God,
like
that'd
a
be
reward.
fun.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah. So that would be nice. And I'm hoping that happens here soon enough, but we'll see. I have to negotiate staunchly. So what I'm doing too is like preparing by researching how to negotiate a contract. And this is something that I'm sure there are certain classes in college that you could take for this, to enter the corporate world. But that's not something that I was ever educated on growing up. So something that I had to learn through trial and error. And, it's an interesting thing. And obviously I failed at negotiating several times, but I also have confidently negotiated my salary for 2 GMs right now decently, where I was like, okay, this is how it works. So now that I got a couple negotiations under my belt and I still kind of screwed myself, this time the goal is to not screw myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely something I do not have any experience in. Like, right, I'm trying to like set this whole thing up with Rustics and everything. And, he gave his first offer and I'm like, there's something I would like a little bit more. And my partners were like, yeah, so counter offer. I was like, wait, that's a thing? And they're like, yes. The worst they can say is no. I was like, oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I think one thing you never do is say final offer. You don't want to do that. You always want to keep the negotiation open.
Got it.
And then not be afraid to, shoot high and then have them kind of work their way to the middle. So don't undersell yourself at all. And don't be afraid to ask for everything. And know that you're not going to get everything, but ask for everything.
Well, and also utilizing, it's called glassdoor.com. They will tell you on average what people are making in those positions. That is something really helpful to me.
Right.
So, because, I've been out of the game for over, a year. So now knowing like what a manager position looks like and that kind of thing was really helpful.
Yeah.
I was like, look at you guys school me. Thank you.
I know. So, and I'm definitely going to have like different meetings and whatnot that I'm going to be doing, just to kind of get prepared. And ChatGPT is a wonderful thing as well. And there's so many ways you can get this information and education. So be ready. I would hope. Let's hope that my GM's not watching this right now and be like, oh shit, we got to negotiate this contract today before he gets too well versed. Anthony says he has a friend that owns an Airbnb and Rocky Point. That'd be cool to get the house. I like doing the resort thing, and I was thinking of resort thing because amenities, but having a house and a group of people at a house is super fun as well.
Right.
Yeah. And then load up with doing barbecues.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been our biggest like secret to save money with the Airbnbs or camping or anything is like we just make our own food. It's so much cheaper than eating out.
Yeah, I could talk to Slob about how to negotiate as well, but it's a different type of negotiation. But when on his show, that's exactly what he would do, and that's part of the business in the resale business for sure. Yeah, so. Yeah, and happy birthday, Lindsay. I see it. And yeah, definitely happy birthday to you. And I know that you're like packing or moving on your birthday, which is a bummer, but I hope that you have a good time. If you want to go to the Roadrunners games this weekend, I'm more than happy to hook you and your friends up. So just let me know and email me and I'll get you on the list.
Nice.
Yeah. Let me play a little bit of Weirdo's rap skills real quick because I was impressed thoroughly. I don't know if you heard it, but the All-Star Challenge is a thing that we're going to be doing periodically just to kind of, again, get the energy up and have fun and just also showcase the theory that you can fit All-Star to pretty much any song. You just got to, reword it. So here's
Yo. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and the thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Did it make sense not to live for fun?
Yep.
Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking these back streets?
No.
You'll never know if you don't go.
Go!
You'll never shine if you don't glow.
All right, so
You're such a good hype man, too.
I try, but yeah, and I gotta get you some more soul, put some more feeling behind it, and we'll get you there.
Okay.
You're gonna be an all-star performer.
That has been your goal since I started working here, was to get me to be better at raps.
Raps and singing. We're singing as well. You know, like the key is to get you kind of like comfortable in delivering it spoken word and then stretching those words, and then eventually it turns into melody. And then you become a singer. So yes, I'm going to turn you into the rock star that you are. You already look like a female Jonathan Davis, so might as well, and a prettier one too.
I hope so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show, but we've had a good one. And I appreciate everyone that hung out on the podcast broadcast stream. A lot of people stopping by and saying hi. If you're not a part of the community, please do so by joining us by subscribing youtube.com/beefvegan. Don't forget to hit any likes or reactions, comment below the video. All that helps in spreading the gospel. All right, now it's time for your beef tip. A beef tip to you is how to live longer. You want to live longer? Hell yeah, you do, right?
Yeah.
So you could do these tips here. Eat a mostly plant-based diet. So you got to avoid red meat and processed food. And this is, of course, this because older people from Japan, Sweden, and Norway do this. Eat slowly and take your time during meals.
Right.
All right. Be active, but it doesn't mean exercise. Just get your steps in and sleep very well. If you do these 4 things, on average, you'll live longer, just like the elderly do in Japan, Sweden, and Norway.
They call those the blue zones, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can always focus on your mental health and socialize as well. These are all tips. But thank you guys so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe. And as always, rock local. Later.
When you wish upon a side of beef,
I was trying to squeeze it
will
in.
come
Trying to
and
cram it
end
in.
to all your grief.
You know what I mean?
But if you
Cramming it.
can
Sometimes it
me
just
a
slides
kind of
in.
bag, I
right,
will
we're out
knock
here
out
right now.
all your teeth.
Babuski.